Hello, everybody, and welcome to Just Mitch Movies, the podcast. I am your host, Mitch Fesser. Grab your popcorn and your soda, for the show is starting. This episode is going to be a little different. This is going to be not a series, but it's going to be a weekly thing. Going to try to post an episode like this every Friday. It's episodes like these where it's going to be a summary of what's happened this past week in Hollywood and film, TV. It's not going to be rumors about relationships or drama amongst actors or who punched who or whatever. It's just going to be a rundown of what's happened in film, like if there's any new trailers coming out, what new movies are coming out, some box office intake, my predictions about who's going to take the box office this weekend, and really just going to talk about some stuff that's going on in multimedia and film and Hollywood. Feel like it'd be a nice little thing that I do. So yeah, let's get started. First thing that's up at the Venom The Last Dance trailer. It premiered, I think it was Monday. I got home and I watched that trailer, and yeah, it looks cool. I'm not really a big fan of the Venom films. The first one was horrible. I hated it. I know there was a lot of people that enjoyed that film, but I personally thought it was one of the worst films ever made, especially for a superhero film, or in this case, Venom is not really a superhero, he's more of an anti-hero. But the second one was better. I enjoyed Venom Let There Be Carnage. This one, I don't know how I feel about it. It looks good. The chemistry with Eddie Brock and Venom is top-notch as always. It's just Sony had a golden opportunity with Spider-Man No Way Home and Venom appearing in that post-credit scene with the symbiote being left in the MCU timeline. And this trailer, it showed that hope was like completely debunked. Because you see a character from the trailer grab that symbiote from that timeline. And all my hope after viewing that in the trailer just went completely downhill, and I didn't care about the rest of the trailer. That's how I would take that trailer. I personally do not care about Venom Last Dance anymore because of that little point in the trailer. I'm still going to go see it. I'm going to form my own opinion, and I hope that the movie is better than what I'm thinking. But after viewing that, I'm not happy. I'm pissed at Sony that they would do something like that, because there was a perfect golden opportunity, and I'm sure there was some negotiations that would have to be made between Sony and Disney and Marvel Studios, but personally, that is such a disappointment, and now I don't really care about Venom Last Dance. I genuinely do not care. I'm going to go see it and form my own opinion, but my hopes are not very high, so there's that. I'm done talking about that trailer. The next thing up, this is, I don't know if this is new news, old news, or if people are going to be talking about it, I don't know, but Shawn Levy is in the running to direct Avengers 5. Here's the thing about Shawn Levy. Yes, he's been doing Stranger Things, and he's doing Deadpool and Wolverine. I just don't know if he has the chops to direct something as big as Avengers 5. Now, a few people could come at me and be like, "Oh, he's directing Deadpool Wolverine," which is true. Yes, that's a big movie. That is a very big movie, and of course it might be a big multiversal film. Well, I mean, we'll see when it comes out next month in July. But if you want to compare two movies, Deadpool Wolverine and Avengers 5, those are going to be completely different films. And I remember I read a report this week that there's going to be 60 characters. 60 characters in that movie. That is a very big difference compared to however many that's going to be in Deadpool Wolverine. I know there are rumors that Patrick Stewart might be in it, Jennifer Gardner might be in it, Halle Berry might be in it. We'll see what happens in July. But if you compare that cast with Deadpool Wolverine to the cast that will most likely be in Avengers 5, and I'm going to get to that because there was another rumor this week that was happening, or a report about somebody returning, which I'm going to get to that in just a little bit. Actually, it will be next on the list, but I don't know. I would love to see him direct it, and I hope he proves me wrong. But it's just Levi he hasn't directed much. And yeah, he's done Stranger Things. Did a great job with Stranger Things in his directing style. Great job. And I hope he proves me wrong. I'm definitely gonna be one of the first people in line for Avengers 5, but that's big. Speaking of Deadpool and Wolverine, the popcorn bucket was revealed. It's something else. Me and my buddy Jonathan, I was talking to him about it. I'm like, I'm gonna buy that. He goes, you go ahead and buy it. Yeah. That was a nice little side note with that. The popcorn bucket looks so weird, and I'm all for it. This next thing that's gonna come up, it's an interesting little tidbit. Robert Downey Jr. just had a one-on-one. I think it was Jodie Foster as Variety. It's that little series that they do, actors on actors. He was talking about after doing Oppenheimer and how he remembered that, oh wow, I can actually act and I don't have to worry about sticking to my status quo as Tony Stark. He would actually be open to returning to the MCU. Here are my thoughts on Downey returning as Iron Man. I would love it, but it would have to be a different multiverse version of Tony Stark. I feel like if they brought Tony Stark back from the dead, I feel like that would be kind of bad after he sacrificed himself, because he was so instrumental in that series up to Avengers Endgame, and then he sacrificed himself. I feel like if you found a way to bring him back, that would make his sacrifice nil. It wouldn't have mattered. But if they do it in a way where they go and find him in another universe and they brought him back, it could be something really interesting, and it could be something that Downey may have wanted to do with the Iron Man character that he wasn't able to do before he ended the series in Avengers Endgame. And maybe he could do a Demon in the Bottle story or something along those lines, or he may have dealt with the Demon in the Bottle in that other universe. I just hope they do it in a way that it's a different version of the character and not the same one that was brought back from the dead, because I think that would be such a bad way of doing things. Such a bad way. But we'll have to see what happens. I don't know if he'll come back. I really don't think Kevin Feige would do something along that little quota, but we'll see. We've seen crazier things happen. Speaking of the MCU, I know this is basically what it's been doing, but Evangeline Lilly is retiring from acting, so she will most likely not show up in Avengers 5 or Secret Wars. But if so, that's her prerogative. She's done her part in performing. She's a great actress. She did great in The Hobbit. She's been doing great in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So whatever her next adventure for her life and career, I'm sure the rest of the Marvel fan base and the rest of movie fans around the world wish her the best. And I hope she enjoys her retirement. And if she comes back, awesome. If not, she has that right to enjoy her retirement. Now, enough about the MCU. We've got one big thing that was announced actually on the 6th. Suzanne Collins. She's writing another Hunger Games. It's called The Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping, and it's due out March 18th of 2025. And there's a movie version. They've already announced that it is also coming out. It's coming out a year and a half after this book comes out. The movie's going to be releasing November 20th of 2026. And it's going to deal with the 50th Hunger Games, which was Haymitch's Hunger Games. Woody Harrelson's Haymitch. Yes. I don't know. I don't think he'd be in this film, but I'm sure there'll be a younger version of Haymitch. But it really... Here's the thing. I haven't seen the prequel that came out last year of The Hunger Games. I haven't read the book. I've only read the first 2 books. I plan on reading the other 2 sooner or later, and I'm sure I'll watch the prequel movie within the next couple weeks. I'm sure if I have nothing else better to do. But at what point... I mean, yes, everyone's excited for it. I'll read the book. I'll watch the movie. But do we really need it? Do we? It's going to be a conflicting opinion that I have, because everybody I know is so excited when this was announced on the 6th. I feel like I'm one of the few people that just didn't care. I loved the first 2 Hunger Games, but the 2 parts of Mockingjay, they were just boring. I didn't enjoy them. And once the movie series, or the original movie series, ended, I feel like, okay, that's done. You don't need to go back to the Hunger Games, because there's no more Hunger Games. And sure, some people wanted to see how President Snow became President Snow and was in the Hunger Games or whatever. And we wanted to hear Haymitch's story. But did we really? Did we really need to hear Haymitch's story? I don't know. I feel like I'm one of the few people that doesn't care. I just don't care. So people will have to let me know about their opinions on that. But I personally don't think this book and this movie is necessary at all. I don't. I just didn't care that much about it. So there's my opinion on the newest Hunger Games announcement. I have one last little thing. Actually, we're going to go back to the nostalgia trip, because The Lion King, the original, the animated, well, there's 2 animated versions. The traditional animated version that was released in 1994, it's being re-released in theaters in July. It's going to celebrate the film's 30th anniversary, so that's super exciting. I've seen the movie in theaters before. I've seen the movie countless times. I actually went to a marathon. It was in January of 2023 to celebrate the company's 100th anniversary, and it was a marathon. It was like Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, and Frozen. I watched the first 3, but I dipped after seeing Frozen. So I've seen The Lion King in theaters. I'm sure I might go watch it to see if there's anything new or exciting for the 30th anniversary. If it's not, like if it's just another showing, I might just skip it, because I can just watch it on Disney Plus. But if there's like a opening scene or an opening little Q&A with some of the developers, or if like Matthew Broderick has a nice message to fans, or James Earl Jones, or something along those lines, I'll go see it. And it's the 30th anniversary of Lion King. It's one of the best animated films ever made. So who knows? I might go see it. So there's the news of this past week. Hopefully everybody enjoyed that. But now I'm going to talk about the box office. There are 2 big movies that came out this week. I've already seen them both. It was The Watchers and Bad Boys Ride or Die. The Watchers sucked. I did not enjoy that movie at all. So definitely, see and form your own opinion, but I personally did not like that movie at all. Y'all have to watch my review on my YouTube channel. Just Mitch Movies, by the way. The next one, Bad Boys Ride or Die, that's going to take the box office this week. I know the prediction was like from $40 to $50 million for this weekend. I'm going to be right in the middle. I think it's around $45 million, because people aren't going to the box office this year. They're not going to the movies this year compared to years past. And I know that there's this motto of make it to 2025 after the actor strikes, but if you look at the numbers of the box office this past May, this May, nothing is doing well except from Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and that's not even doing great. I was hoping Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was be hitting the $500 million mark by now, but no, it's barely past the $300 million, which that's not a bomb, it's a success. But the Planet of the Apes franchise, that is normally a big cash cow. So to see a movie like that not make $400 million yet, and it's been out a month, it's really not great for movie theaters. And to see movies like the Garfield movie and Furiosa, I knew the Garfield movie was not going to be a big cash cow as much as people were thinking, because I read the reviews. I haven't seen it yet. I'm sure I'll watch it sooner or later, but it didn't look good. And to see it not make as much money as as people were expecting, it's not a good look. And Furiosa, that's really disheartening to see a movie like Furiosa not do well at the box office. Because I've only seen the first Mad Max. I haven't seen the other ones. But people love the Mad Max franchise. And to see a movie from the franchise not do good, it worries me, because there were hope of like a fifth Mad Max with Tom Hardy coming back. And to see another female-led movie in this not do well. And it's so bad, because Anya Taylor-Joy is a great actress. And we need more female-led action films like this. But to see it tank, it stinks. It's really upsetting. And you also have The Fall Guy, which I loved The Fall Guy with Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. But again, no one's seeing it. No one, it's a bomb right now. And my thing about the box office this year, and yes, we have Inside Out 2 coming out next week. We have Deadpool and Wolverine coming out in July. We have The Quiet Place coming out later this month. But seeing films that I think should be successes, see them tank, and to see studios really be worried about trying to make it to next year, trying to make it 2025 after all the strikes that happened last year, it worries me. Because the days of just straight to streaming, those are gone right now. Those have been gone since 2022. You don't have to worry about that. But people still need to go see movies in theaters in order for films to keep being made, So I have to ask, why do you guys think people aren't going to movie theaters? Is it because it's too expensive? Is it because it's a hassle to get there? Or is it just because we're so used to watching films on our streaming services at home now that we're just waiting for them to show up? Which I know that is kind of true for some films. That's why I was a little worried about Inside Out 2 coming out. I'm hoping I'm wrong, and I hope it makes a ton of money. But the fact that films are waiting 90 days or 100 days or 120 days and then they come to streaming, that's why people aren't going to see them, because they know it's just going to show up on a streaming service less than 3 months later. So I think for studios, what they need to do is don't just be like, here, we'll put it on a streaming service in 3 months' time. If you want to wait, fine. Don't let the audience know that it's going to go to a streaming service in 3 months' time. Let them know, hey, we're going to put it on streaming service, but we don't know when that's going to be. It could be a month after it's done. It could be halfway through. It could be 2 months after it's done. But you can't give the audience the expectation, it's just going to be on a streaming service later on. If you don't want to go see the movie, just wait for it to stream in 3 months. That's killing your box office. That is killing your box office. So I hope studios everywhere just get the hint that, hey, let the audience know that we care about movie theaters. We do. And a lot of studios now do. I know Disney, and I am a Walt Disney World cast member, so therefore I don't speak for the brand of the company. My thoughts and opinions are my own. Disney's doing the right thing and making sure that quality over quantity. They want people to enjoy the movie theater experience, which I think that's one of the best decisions they've made so far the past couple of years. But you have companies like Warner Brothers, Discovery, that they don't have a clue with David Zaslav. That man is, I don't even want to know what that goes through that man's mind. Sony's getting better. They need to put out better product. You have Paramount. They're doing okay. Universal's actually doing pretty good. But really, the only films that are making successes are these cheap indie films, like the A24s and everything. So I just hope that it's not that 2025 isn't a 2024, because there are big budget blockbuster films that need to be making more money and they're just not, and it's disappointing, and it worries me because I love seeing movies in movie theaters. I don't want to see the next big movie on a streaming service. I want to see it in theater. So hopefully with Bad Boys making I think it could hit 50 million this weekend. So hopefully with that success and with Inside Out 2, hopefully that crosses a good chunk of money. But time will tell. You guys will have to let me know your opinion. So, having said that, you'll find this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you can find your podcasts. Feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel entitled Just Mitch Movies, where you'll also find this podcast as well as my movie and TV reviews. You can also follow me on Instagram at Just Mitch Movies and on TikTok at justmitch.movies. If you have any requests, go ahead and send me an email at mfester10@gmail.com. And as always, I'll see you at the movies.